Hi, Francis. It's Laura.
Are you talking to Francis Kersey? We get confused.
Francis Kersey.
Hello, Laura.
I just want you to know that Craig's gonna actually be the voting member today. I will just be observing.
Okay, he's here and signed in to PrimeGov. So,
Right. So I will not sign into PrimeGov.
okay.
All right.
Thank you for letting us know.
Okay.
Craig Keith, can we test your audio? You're muted. Craig, can you unmute? Here you go. Craig, we still can't hear you.
What's he need to hit? Star.
I think he's on his PC.
We're still up.
Craig, this is Amy Russell. Right next to your button that says mute, there should be a little arrow. If you'll click that arrow, you can click test speakers and microphone, and you can test your microphone because it's not picking up your voice. We're still not hearing you.
Amy, this is Alan. I can also run over and help him if you need me to.
If you don't mind heading over there, that would be great.
On the way.
Thank you.
How's that? Any better?
Oh, we can hear you. Perfect. I'm going to go catch Alan.
I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Amy.
Ready for me to start?
Okay, yes. Chairman Martinez Brooks, we have quorum present. We have a new trustee that has been sworn in and he will be able to vote. So it's time to start the meeting.
Very good. Well, before we start the meeting, I have a few announcements to make. First of all, thank you for joining us for the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust meeting. We have a few announcements. If the video conference is disconnected at any time during the meeting shall be stopped and reconvened once the connection is restored. If communications are unable to be restored within 30 minutes, items remaining for consideration will be continued to later today, September the 15th at 4 o'clock via video conference. The agenda and documents are located at okc.gov. Anyone wishing to speak about an agenda item, public hearing, or to speak under citizens to be heard must call 405-297-2422 or email awkwit-support@okc.gov. Please provide your name, phone number, the item number, and the reason you wish to comment. If you call in after your item has been heard, you will be allowed to speak under citizens to be heard. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to comment. Staff will attempt to submit requests received during the meeting to process them to the chair. Please press *6 to speak when recognized by the chair. And that being read, I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. And the first item is to approve the minutes of the August 18th meeting. And for some reason, it looked like I just got kicked out of PrimeGov.
You're still there.
Am I? Okay.
Either click escape or go down to your Chrome button icon at the bottom of your screen and click on it, and it should bring up the voting box.
It says voting, and it has the item, and it says waiting.
Are you on another device?
Yes.
You might refresh your screen. If you'll click in the address,
It kicked me out. Hold on, I'm logging back in. Okay, I'm there. Okay, and we will vote on the minutes of the August 18th Aquit meeting. Everyone please vote.
The motion was approved unanimously.
Okay, I am having a delay on my Prime Gov. I'm trying to get back to the agenda. So am I having to hit escape every time to get out of there?
if you're on a separate device, you shouldn't have to hit escape.
It's not liking me today. I will try and log back in again.
Yeah, they're having problems like we did.
And it says I'm already signed. Okay.
You'll just have to navigate back to the meeting.
Okay, I'm back. All right, item 3 is the consent docket. We have items A through W. And unless somebody would like to discuss an item individually, we'll go ahead and vote on the consent docket.
Madam Vice Chair, we would like to strike item S. It is no longer required.
Okay. Item S.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we have motion to approve the consent docket without item S, moved by Craig, seconded by Jim. We'll vote.
Councilman Stonecipher,
And item passes. Item 4 is the concurrent docket. We have items A through F to approve, and unless somebody wants to discuss an item individually, we'll go ahead and approve the concurrent docket as a whole. Can I get a motion to approve? Motion by Councilman Stonecipher, seconded by Craig. We'll vote. Concurrent docket passes. Next item is item 5, which is an emergency construction contract for an emergency sewer repair, approving the bidding and addendum 1 and awarding the contract to Matthews Trenching in the amount of $440,350. We need 4 votes for approval. Could I get a motion to approve? We have a motion and a second, and we'll vote. Item passes. Okay. Item 6A, under items for individual consideration.
Madam Vice Chair. we
Yes,
need a
Ms. Brown.
vote- We need a vote on item 5.2, please.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Item 5.2 is an amendment revising the contract with Matthews Trenching to increase the amount by $40,050. My apologies. Item's been moved by Craig, seconded by Jim, and we'll vote. Item passes. Moving on to item 6A, which is authorizing some changes to the water settlement agreement. Craig, Keith, I believe you wanted to speak about that?
Yes, I would, Madam Chairwoman. The item before you is a resolution which would repeal a previous action by the Water Trust on August 18th. On that same day that the city and the Water Trust approved an extension of the timelines for the water settlement, the Water Resources Board approved different timelines, and then the next day, the federal government asked for additional time. So they came back to us and asked if we would repeal the prior action and approve new documents that would extend the timelines. So what I need to speak about is, in addition to what's in your packet, last night at 5:12 and 5:42, I received changes to the two documents. The first one, which you see before you, is a document which changes the timeline for the Secretary of the Interior to publish notice in accordance with their procedures. There was a change that came in late that was on the third whereas clause that added a section to the legal statutory reference to include section 1811 in addition to 1810. And that those are sections of the federal code which authorize the Secretary of the Interior to sign the deadline change as relates to the act. Similarly, on the document which was to extend, if you would switch to the second document, please, there was to extend the time on the settlement document on the third whereas as well. It changes the same statutory reference to add section 1811. And then on the third whereas on the second page, it adds 3 words, the words "such extension is." That was a typographical error by the author of the document in which he was quoting from the Settlement Act and had left out 3 words. So those were the changes. Neither one of them are substantive. Neither one of them change the rights or responsibilities of the city as relates under the act or the agreement. But in order for the documents to be signed by the Secretary of Interior, we needed to have them all match the most recent version that we got from the federal government. And that is what is before you. So I would ask that you adopt the resolution with these changes to those 2 documents.
Thank you, Craig.
Question?
I can't tell who asked it.
No,
Yes.
this is Jim Couch. Quick question, Craig. First of all, who requested the last minute changes last night? Was it the feds?
That would be Steve McCune on behalf of the feds, yes. This is so that when they present the document to the Secretary of Interior today, that it fully represent all of the authorities that the Secretary of Interior has to sign the extensions.
Okay, and then secondly, just 4 weeks ago, the Fed said they needed 6 months, and now this meeting they need a year. Why do they need an additional 6 months?
They are having political difficulties in DC. They felt like they were finished with their review, and the Secretary of Interior was ready to sign at the end of August. And now it's been sent through a second time for a second review.
Okay.
The position of the nations has not changed. The OWRB asked for additional time so that the appeal of the city's water permit might be completed by the Supreme Court by that time. Legally, the permit that we have is effective until it's reversed. And so it was not as concerned about that deadline, but moving that deadline would not disadvantage the city or the trust either. So they will provide more clarity.
Thank you.
Mr. Couch, this amendment actually takes the deadline to March 2022, so it'll be 18 months.
Okay.
Madam Chair, we need a motion to amend.
Is there somebody who'd like to make a motion to amend the document and the changes to the timeline? moved by Mark, seconded by Jim. We'll vote. Item passes. All right, item 6B.
Now we need a resolution.
Okay, yeah, now we need a motion to adopt the resolution as amended.
It's been moved by Jim. It's been seconded by Craig. We will vote. Item passes. Okay. Now we are on to item 6B, and I believe we have a presentation.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Dennis Whaley with Public Financial Management is here to give us a presentation on refunding our 2011 bonds. Dennis, you're muted.
How's that?
That'll work. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chris. I'm Dennis Whaley with PFM. We are the financial advisor to Aquit, and we have a brief presentation to discuss an opportunity to refund the 2011 bonds. Page 2, please. For a little background on Aquit and its debt management, Aquit issues revenue bonds, which are supported by ratepayers. The bonds are sold for a 30-year term to align with the useful life of assets. The repayment to bondholders is made annually over the 30-year life. And Aquit takes advantage of the lowest possible borrowing cost due to its AAA rating, which is also the highest possible rating. When Aquit sells bonds, it does so with a 10-year par call. This allows Aquit to refund bonds at 10 years instead of keeping the bonds outstanding for the entire 30-year term. The benefit of selling bonds with a 10-year call feature is it provides the opportunity to refund the bonds if interest rates are low, and that allows the utility to lower its debt service costs, which is a benefit to ratepayers. In 2018, due to federal tax reform, a refunding before the 10-year call date must be done on a taxable basis. So on page 3, why would we consider doing a refunding now of the Series 2011 bonds? Currently, we are in a rate environment which has historically low rates, and that can be taken advantage of now. By utilizing an OWRB FAP loan, Aquit can increase the savings because the refunding will not require a debt service reserve fund. This is something that is required when Aquit refunds bonds under its bond indenture because the bond indenture requires the use of a debt service reserve. The graph at the bottom shows the very low interest rate environment. If you look at the gray line, you will see where current interest rates are. And then if you notice the red dashes, that is the lowest each one of those maturities has been since 2000. So over the last 20 years, rates are at all-time historic lows. So if we go to page 4, a little discussion about the opportunity before us. The 2011 bonds have a call date of April 1, 2021. If a taxable refunding is completed now, savings is estimated to be $19.2 million. We then compared this to waiting until the call date to refund the bonds, where we estimated the savings would be about $19.9 million, only about $700,000 difference. With the possibility of interest rate volatility between now and April due to many factors, including the pandemic and national elections, we are thinking that this is a good time to go ahead and execute the transaction. Page 5. There we go. So in conclusion, Aqua can lock in savings today through an OWRB FAP loan. There would be no debt service reserve requirement, which enhances savings by about $4.4 million. Aqua has successfully worked with the OWRB in the past. Earlier this year, Aqua refunded the 2009 AB bonds and generated about $5.5 million in savings. And also earlier this year, some previously issued drinking water loans were paid off early, which saved Aqua about $14.5 million. So if this transaction is approved today, our estimate is that Aqua will have saved approximately $42 million in calendar year 2020, which is fantastic and a great benefit to the ratepayers. Be glad to answer any questions.
Yeah, Dennis, this is Craig. So do we have any other refunding opportunities that we're looking at, just given the rate environment that we're in right now?
This one, the 2011 bonds, which would have a call date next April, we're looking at doing this fall.
Okay, thanks.
Other opportunities are very far out, and the negative arbitrage just does not make it efficient for you to refund those bonds.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Vice Chair, we would ask consideration to allow staff to prepare the documents necessary for this refunding option.
Okay, can I get a motion from the trust to file an application to the Water Resources Board for the Financial Assistance Program? It's moved by Mark, it's seconded by Craig. We could vote, please.
Trustee McAtee, have you voted?
Yes.
Okay, item passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis, for the presentation. Item 7, or any items or comments from trustees? Seeing none, we will go to the consideration and nomination election of chair. First, let me welcome Mr. Couch to the Water Trust Board. We are so grateful that your expertise is joining the group. So I would entertain a motion to elect a chair. Wink, wink. Mr.
Vice Chair, at this time, I'd like to nominate my good friend James D. Couch to serve as the chair of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust.
Thank you, Councilman Stonecipher. We have a motion to name Jim Couch as the chair of the Water Trust. And seconded by Craig. All those in favor? Congratulations, Mr. Couch, Chairman Couch, excuse me.
Thank you. I'm very honored. The Water Utilities Trust has always been special to me now for probably my 4th decade. So I really do appreciate being a part of it.
Well, you bring a lot of expertise and wisdom to the group, and so we are thankful that you are here and joining us. All right, Mr. Browning, General Manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. As you all can imagine, all the lakes are full. We've had one of the wettest years, now probably one of the coolest. So we have plenty of water to sell. and we're selling plenty of water. Mr. Edwards, former Chairman Edwards, was not able to be here today, but I want everybody to know that he will join us at the next meeting so that we can properly recognize him for his 20 years of service. He was sworn in 2020, so he's been on the trust for 20 years. He's been the vice chair for nearly 12 years and chair for the last 3 years. So we want to properly recognize him next week, or next meeting rather, on the 29th, when he will be in attendance. Mr. Couch, Chairman Couch, looking forward to serving under your direction one more time.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you for volunteering to serve on the trust. So,
Yeah, thank you.
It's absolutely my pleasure to serve under your leadership. I want to give you all an update on the arrears. Right now, we're just over 13,000 customers in arrears, totaling about $6.2 million. We do have CARES funding available. However, we've had very few participate in that funding option. So we'll continue to work with our consultant, with the city's consultant, and our customers to help them use CARES money to pay off their water bills. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Chris, I have a quick question. Last meeting, we had discussed the study, and we were going to get a copy of the previous study, but I had not received that as of yet. The results of the previous.
My memory, which study are you asking about?
The one for the rate adjustment. The findings from the previous rate adjustment study that were done.
Okay, I'll find out. I saw the information that was to be forwarded to you, and somehow or another it must not have reached the mark. So I'll find out where it is and I'll make sure that you get it.
Now, that being said, I may have missed something in these emails that I get at the 100th hour. So my apologies if I did miss it.
We will be happy to resend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have anything else under the general manager's report?
No, ma'am, I'm finished.
All right. Any citizens to be heard? Well, congratulations again, Chairman Couch, and I look forward to working with you. And I believe we are adjourned.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for filling in during this time period.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.